What's up YouTube? It's your boy JD and we're back with another tutorial. Today's tutorial is the Hopper Factory version 5. I had found some bugs in this thing while I was developing it, so it just took a little bit longer to get the tutorial out. But here we are with a full box loader and all the bells and whistles. It can't break itself. It will smartly stop if it runs out of ingredients. It loads the items into the box for you. Let's take a look at it in action. As you can see, the hoppers are just flying in there. You've seen the example videos. We know how this thing works. So, you're going to need a space that is 5 by 10 by 12. And you can go ahead and start clearing that out. This is the machine that we're going to be building, and it's the Advanced Hopper Factory version 5. I'll show when we get to the point where the box loader, the shulker box loader, we don't actually have to have this, so we can have the output going into a barrel or a chest. Um, this is more for the end game, and this is definitely an end game contraption. Mind you, you need 2 shulker boxes, or you need a whole double chest of wood to make 1 shulker box of hoppers. And this thing's lightning fast, but we're going to go ahead and get started on the tutorial. So once you've cleared out your 5 by 10 by 12, clear out some extra space around it so you have an area to work in. And once you've found a suitable area, take your time and gather a handful of what you see in my inventory. Now you don't need stacks of the repeaters or the comparators. You might need max 32. You are going to need at least 2 stacks of solid blocks and a stack of glass. All right, you're going to need a handful of each of these other things. The crafter, you're going to need about 10 crafters. You're going to need about 16 hoppers. Okay, I'll have a material list in the actual description. All right, so let's get started and put these things in your hotbar, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the build. Okay. Oh, I'm missing one little thing. You're gonna need levers. Get some levers. I'll put those to the side for right now. Got our solid blocks. This is all we really need to get started with the build. So, starting off, we're going to build a rising edge detector. A rising edge detector only gives off a signal or a pulse when it is turned on. So, when this little doohickey turns on, it will give us a pulse. Ooh, cave sounds are scary. Okay, let me back up for a minute. So once you've built that little platform, swing around to the front after you put everything down and place 2 extra blocks and then a block on top of that block and then 2 extra blocks right here. Then come over on this side and place another block up just like that. Now get your dust out and put dust here and dust here. Grab your repeaters and put a repeater here and make sure that repeater is on 2 ticks. Alright, very good. Swing around to the front of that repeater and attach a block to it and put a piece of dust on top of that block. Now place a block on top of that repeater and we'll put a torch there. And come over here to this block and put a torch on that one. You should have something that is looking like this. Let's see if there's some temporary blocks we can get rid of. Get rid of that temporary block. Should be having something looking like this. Alright. Now since we're about to build up, let's go ahead and place a solid block above that torch, another solid block right there, and then a solid block right there. Break this temporary block. Next up, we're going to come and mess with this torch. Place a solid block off like that, and then a solid block here. Go ahead and get your comparator, and facing that way, put it on subtract mode, and add some dust coming off to the side. Next up, you want to grab your crafters. We're going to use crafters for signal strength. Over here on this build, I use barrels. You can use whatever you want. There are more lag efficient blocks. I'm going to use crafters here. We're going to set this bottom one to 8. 1, 2, 3. Right. We got that set to 8. Now, what we need to do is we need to place a solid block on the front of this comparator. So make sure it's the comparator is going into that block. It's not this block. Okay, it's that block. But we do need to go ahead and build up this temporary platform, just like this. Alright, so that's so we can put our fader down. Comparator facing that block, and then spin around and comparator facing the other way. Put dust on everything and break this temporary block. Alright, that is the stable fader all done. That is the fader that controls the time for the top fader that gives the pulses that power the system. Let's go take a break and look at how fast this thing is going. Oh, it's about to break the first box. Okay, we gotta hurry. We're never gonna beat it. I was gonna try and do the tutorial faster than the machine makes the boxes. Not gonna happen. Put some dust on these solid blocks that are staircased. Put another solid block here, another solid block here. And get you a comparator, a crafter reading. The comparator is going to be reading that crafter. I'll go ahead and put this crafter on 9. Alright, so that's giving us signal strength 9. Put that comparator on subtract mode and put some dust on the other side here. We're going to get this comparator facing into a solid block. Then we're going to come out using some temporary blocks. Build this little setup. Okay. Just a little 3x3. Alright. First thing we're going to do is one block away from the block that this comparator is facing in, place another comparator. Then spin around, and we're just going to continue to make the fader. Put your comparators just like this. Place with dust. Break that dust. Make that a block. Break this temporary block. We should have something looking like this. Next up, get your, coming from this direction, the back of the machine, get your target block. Place it here. Have a comparator reading it, going into a solid block. Put that comparator on subtract mode. Add in some extra 3 blocks right there next to the target block. Get another comparator, some dust, crafter. Put this crafter on 4. That should be on 4. And now our main wiring is done. So what we need to do is we need to, before we go forward, we need to make sure that when we do the next part, it is not going to activate the machine. Place in the middle layer of the crafter clock, place a lever right here and turn it on. Next up, place a torch right there, and you'll see that the machine should have tried to do its dance, but because we locked it, it couldn't. Now comes the fun part. We're gonna go ahead and place our crafters, the main crafters, in place. Swinging around to the front of the machine, which you see me looking at, we were working from the back. We're done with the main wiring here. Now we're going to do the inputs, the outputs, and all the little bells and whistles. From the front of the machine, come to this center block, and then come down here, and we need to place a crafter. Not right there. Ignore that crafter. A crafter facing this way. Okay. Then a crafter facing you. And another crafter. Need some temporary blocks. Place 2 temporary blocks. Place this crafter. Break these temporary blocks. And now we need some temporary blocks here. Oh. Here. Should have something looking like this. Looking from down to up, place a crafter, and then looking to your left, place another crafter. Break these temporary blocks. Let's go ahead and configure all of our crafters. This first one on the top here just needs one slot open, and that's going to have wood in it. Me making planks. Same for the other one over here to the left. Just set it up like that. That's this crafter. Now the chest crafter, just blank out one slot in the middle. The actual hopper crafter, get slot 2, slot 7, and slot 9 for a situation like this. And then on the iron crafter, you need just one slot open. Let's go ahead and grab our ingredients. So we need a block of iron. We need some blocks of wood, 2 stacks of blocks of wood. And we're going to grab some more chests, some ingots real quick. First, we're going to set the hopper recipe. We need 5 ingots. I'm going to put 2 as my buffer. Alright. Oh, I forgot the planks. Now we need the planks in here. We just want to set 2 here as well. It's important that these buffers be only 2. They cannot be full buffers, otherwise items will start spilling out, and the crafter doesn't care. It will, oops. You need to put the iron goes into the right crafter. I'll be posting a screenshot with this. Gotta hurry here. No. The wood in. Put the wood in. Alright. Since we've got everything loaded, we can actually go ahead and test the machine, but I'm not going to do that, right? Let's get rid of some of the things that we have in our hotbar. Still need the solid blocks. We don't need crafters anymore, and we don't need target blocks anymore. We're going to need the block of redstone. We're going to need hoppers. We're going to need all of our input stuff. Now we're moving on to go ahead and start doing the inputs of the ingredients. So starting off with the wood crafters, come to the back of the machine, coming from the back, and have a hopper pointing into that crafter, a hopper pointing into this crafter, a hopper going into the top of that crafter, and a hopper going in the top of that crafter. These next hoppers are important. Make sure that they are pointing into these hoppers, right? Very important. Sure, it looks like that. All right, we got a hopper there, a hopper there, another hopper there. All right, we're all done with our hoppers for now. Go ahead and do chest on top of that, chest on top of that, chest on top of this. Okay, so that's our item inputs are all finished. Now we need to do our fancy little item protection. This is going to make sure that the machine retains its buffer no matter what happens. So taking 3 blocks off of these hoppers we just installed, you're going to have something looking like this. Right? Then you're going to come over here to the iron hopper, and starting from it, we're going to get a comparator, solid block, and another solid block. We put dust on top of all of this, and a torch right there. What this is going to do is if we're out of iron, this torch will be on, and that'll mean the pulsing circuit up here at the top is going to remain locked. It will not unlock and activate the machine, which is exactly what we want. We're going to do the same thing over here for wood. We need to get some comparator readouts and place some dust. We don't want these to dust dancing or finagling, so we're going to use blocks to cut it off. Place solid blocks on top of those. Now you should have isolated lines. We need to get some torches on the end of these, and since we have no ingredients in our machine right now, it's going to be very angry with us. Now that we're done with that part, I am going to. I was gonna put ingredients in it, but I'm not. I'm gonna wait until the end because I gotta clear my inventory. We're mostly done. We got everything here. Let's give the machine a test. If you've loaded it with its ingredients and you verify that you have everything right, starting from the left, this is the wood crafter. This is the top wood crafter. This is the chest crafter. And we have the actual hopper crafter. And this is the D crafter for the iron blocks. So make sure you have all your crafters set up like that. And we're going to run a cycle here real quick. Uh-oh. That's wrong. Let's set to 8. Set to 9. Oh. It won't run because the item safety. So that was irrelevant. Look at this. Now the clock actually starts running. It tries its best to do it right here, but it cannot. You see this torch? Can't unlock. Those torches won't let it. I don't feel like loading the machine, so no test right now. Now, starting from the front of the machine, we need to place some temporary blocks. So place 2 temporary blocks and then 2 more temporary blocks. Break out these 3 blocks. Grab your hoppers, hopper into the block, hopper into the block, and then hopper. This hopper must be going into that block. And we need to come up with a temporary block like that. Once you got your temporary block in position, get your sticky piston. You only needed 1 sticky piston for the entire build. And place it right there. Next up, get your dispenser. The dispenser should be facing this temporary block that we have right here. I'm just going to use some dispensers. Make sure your dispenser's facing that like that. Alright? Oh. You know what? I said I was going to show you guys how to do it without a shulker box loader. If you don't want a shulker box loader, just put a double chest coming out of that main hopper crafter and you're done. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you don't want the shulker loader or that's too advanced, you can just do this number right here and you're all done. That's your output. That's where you could also do it like this. Whatever you think looks good, that's where your hoppers are going to be ending up. If not, and you want the fancy stuff, stay tuned because we're about to do it. Okay, build this 4 block setup and then break those 3 blocks. Get your hoppers and point them into that temporary block and also into itself. And then above this, get our temporary block, place our piston back in. Piston placed in, break this temporary block, and using the temporary block over here as a starting point, come out by a few blocks just to give ourselves some space to work with. We need to get a comparator that's going to read the shulker box. That's going to be right there. I'm going to put a shulker box there so we know that that is a shulker. This is where the shulker box goes. Right here. I want to be able to open the box, so hold on just a second. Before we do the shulker box, place a temporary block right there, swing around to the other side, and place a dispenser so it's looking at the correct spot. Now we can place our shulker box. Alright. Below the shulker box, or the temporary block, you're going to have a cobweb. Alright. And then we need a redstone block right there, a solid block right there, a solid block, and dust, and run that dust all the way up in there. Put this thing, leave it on compare mode. Now, we're going to need glass. So what we want to do is we want to surround the shulker with glass. Oh wait, that's wrong. Break that. Break that temporary glass. Put a piece of mud next to this uh, redstone block. And that's just to catch any kind of accidents that could happen with the shulker flying. Put a piece of glass right there. Have a hopper going into the dispenser, followed by a chest where your shulkers are going to go. Next up, we can get some glass. Run it just like that. You put dust here and a repeater. Wait, nope, we don't even need that repeater, just dust just like that. Put a torch on the side of this block. On the other side, we need a button. This button can be used to make the box get broken and make it give us the box. We're almost done here. We're almost done. Oh, excuse me. We're almost done. So we got our button in place. Now what we're going to do is we're going to install the hopper line that catches that, because right now it just drops into the cobweb and goes to nowhere. First thing we need to do is get some droppers. We're going to place a dropper there. Going to come down with our target blocks and place one temporary target block, and we just need a target block, one below that dropper, and we're going to place another dropper that faces up into that. This is just like a little drop elevator that brings the items up for us. Alright, so what we do is we grab our hoppers, starting from the dropper, just make a hopper line right to where that cobweb is, so that can pick up our shulker box when it breaks. Next up, we need to create the circuit that's going to send the item up these two droppers. Yeah. How do you do that? First off, you need to place these two blocks. Then a block here, a block, and blocks like this. Now, we got to watch out for the wiring messing with one another. So we're going to place just like this. Make this little circuit just like this. Dust here, here, and here. And you need to put a solid block there to cut those off from communicating with each other. And break that. And also put a solid block here, here, and here. Place dust on all this stuff. And we need to verify that this is working. So what you can do is you can just grab some whatever and just put that stuff in there. Not working. Do we know why it's not working? It's because we didn't run our dust down here to the target block. Go ahead and do that. And as we can see, all items should be shot out of there. Now that we've verified that that's working, we can place our double chest here. We can go ahead and get our glass. We're going to place glass here, here. We're going to start placing the floor everywhere. This is what would be considered the floor of this build. Now we still need our power, our on and off switch, which is right there, and that's not going to be really fun. So we're going to hook up an actual on and off switch. We can do that with a solid block here. Put a lever on that solid block. Turn that lever on. Come underneath. Place some glass blockage. Oh. Alright, so I'm gonna do this in solid blocks actually. That didn't need to be glass. I know you guys cannot see that. Starting from where this lever is, alright, place the solid blocks and just run these solid blocks. They gotta come down. There's a reason for that. And run those solid blocks all the way over here. Right where that is, and then make this little setup. Just like that. Break these temporary blocks. We're gonna temporarily put a lever right here and power it. That's just temporary because we need to come in here with a comparator on subtract mode. Get some dust. Run this dust. Oh, terrible. Hopefully you didn't break that. That was an accident. We did not mean to run the dust all the way back to where we started with our lever. You should see it turn on. You should see going into the back of this 8 minus 6 so that this will be 2. We can break the temporary level. That should say 2. Well, you won't be able to see that. Most people won't be able to say that, but just know that that's 2 signal strength going in there. That just lets the machine start really fast when we flick that lever. It actually could be full strength. I think we have everything done here. The machine is completed. We have everything in place. And what we're going to do next is get that iron ingot out of there. Is there any more iron ingots anywhere? No. Alright. What we're going to do next is we're going to load the machine. I'm going to clear out my inventory. Got some commands ready to go. Get some oak logs. Getting oak logs. Alright, more oak logs. Yeah. And then we need the iron. Alright. So we're going to let the machine load itself here a little bit. It's going to take a minute. While that loads up, and then what we have to reason we have to wait for it to load is because the item protections won't even let the machine start until it's loaded itself. Oh, I might make it load faster. Hold on, let me do something here. How I can do this is I can just manually load these hoppers. 2 hoppers. Issue. Alright. So let's go over here and look at the results of what we had here. This thing should have made 2 boxes. I made some boxes before the video started, so we got 4 boxes of hoppers. We should have some left over in here. The machine wouldn't start crafting again unless I gave it wood. We can try and give it some wood, but we're going to be messing with our new machine here in just a second. Stuff away. Should be good to go. You can verify that it's good to go when all 3 of these torches are off. The machine will be allowed to run. That means it has ingredients. So if all 3 of those torches are off, we have ingredients and we can start the machine. Let's go. Hopefully I don't look stupid. There we go. We got hoppers. Hoppers are coming in super fast. Your machine should be working very, very nicely. You have it on and off. You have the item protection. You have the shulker box loader. You have the best hopper crafting machine in Minecraft Bedrock. That's all we got time for today. Thanks for checking it out. Give me a like and give me a sub. I got world downloads, structure packs, and hollow prints in the description. I'll have a materials list as well. Once again, like and sub. That stuff really helps me out. I'm trying to grow my channel. I'm trying to grow the Bedrock technical community with more advanced redstone knowledge and builds. So thanks for your support.